3 ways to kick up into a handstand. Now, if you're just learning handstand, or if you've been working on it for a while, you may be trying to kick up into that final version, that final expression of the pose, which is straight up and down handstand, which looks like this, except for upside down. So what I mean by that is just kicking up and bringing both legs together. So that is your final version, your full expression of your handstand. And just like any other pose, the full expression is going to be the hardest form of the pose. So if you're just learning handstand, if you're trying to find that balance, if you're trying to really stick the pose, don't kick up into the final version of the pose. Start with these 3 different kick-ups and then see if you can hold those. And if you can hold one of those expressions for maybe about 8 to 10 breaths, then you can take the second leg up and find your full expression and work towards that. But let me show you these 3 ways. If you're working toward a handstand, kick up into one of these 3 versions and work to find balance there. So the first one is a bow and arrow handstand. So after you set your handstand up, shoulders forward, gaze is forward, strong core, strong arms. One leg lifts, one leg pulls in. One leg lifts, one leg pulls in, one leg lifts, one leg pulls in. So you can see it's like a bow and arrow shape. The leg that's pulling in is the bow, the leg that's reaching is the arrow. And when you do that, you have this really counterbalance of the weight. You have this one knee that's pulling in, that's keeping you from going over into a back bend, and this one leg that's reaching, that's extending up to the sky, so you can find that balance in your handstand. So, one leg pulls in, one leg reaches, one leg pulls in, one leg reaches. And that leg that's pulling in, that's the leg that's going to keep you from going over. So if you feel yourself starting to arch over and go into the back bend, really hug this knee in close. It'll bring you back down to earth. So, second variation of your handstand. A lot like your bow and arrow, it's called an L shape. So basically the legs are in an L. One leg is reaching, one leg stays out in front of you, again for that counterbalance. And if you feel yourself starting to go over, you come back with that leg that's in front of you to keep you from going over into a back bend. So 2 straight legs in the form of an L. Looks like this. Kick up, work your handstand there. And it's that leg that's reaching out, the bottom part of your L is going to keep you from going over into a back bend. Now, the third one, for some people, is the easiest. For me, it was actually the hardest handstand to learn. It's the tug handstand, where both knees stay tucked into your chest, hugging everything in really, really tight into the core, and finding strength and balance there. So, it looks like this. Knees into the chest, knees into the chest, tuck, 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 knees into the chest. Now, some people will advise you to try a donkey kick, where you actually go up and you try to kick your rear end with your feet. I actually don't advise that, because what that is doing is taking your anchor away and lifting it up away from your body, so that you have a greater chance to go into a back bend. Those knees tucking into your chest, that's what's keeping you from dropping over into the back bend. So when you donkey kick, you don't have the stability of those knees into your chest, and you also get a lot of flexion in the low back. You lose all the strength in the core when you do that. So don't really advise trying to kick your butt to find balance and stability in your handstand. If you're going this route, the tuck, knees into the chest, knees into the chest, both knees together, press, press, press. Keep the gaze forward, work your handstand there. So, try one of those 3 variations. Don't kick up into the final version of the pose. Try bow and arrow, L handstand, or tuck. When you can hold one of those for about 8 to 10 breaths, then you may work on extending the legs up. Good luck, guys.